Where do you start if you want to change the world? Like asking better questions. So where do you start if you want to change the world? You start right here.
Hey, how everybody? Good evening. Today is the 2nd of May and sorry, 2nd of June. And it's to me over here it's fantastically hot. So tonight we have got Jon Tan with us. John, are you here?
Oh, yes, I am.
Hey, welcome in, man. So let's wish how to every viewers today.
How?
Yep, let's get to the show. And we are talking about brand communication, right?
Yes.
John, can you please elaborate what you mean by brand communication?
Now, brand communication is actually a new term, not really new per se. The brand communication term came about only in the mid 90s, when current day branding is being practiced. Previous to that, the term popularly used was from 60s up to 90s, was advertising and promotions. Andrew, ring a bell?
AMP, yep.
Advertising and promotions, and whatever you market, communicate about the brand, was fell under promotions, advertising and promotions. So the correct term that we use is brand communication, not for the sake of semantics, because brand communication today will cover six key areas. Six key areas. There are many ways to publicize, advertise, communicate your brand. And at one count, I actually listed about 50, Then one day, Philip Kotler, the godfather of marketing, he's still alive. He came up with this, and I like it a lot. It comes under the MBA marketing management, macro and micro. So today we'll discuss macro will be one, advertising, two, PR and publicity. PR means public relations and publicity. Three, events and experiences. Four, sales. These are hardcore sales. And under micro, five, personal selling, one to one or one on one, and direct marketing. Miraculously, these six categories cover the list of 50 I work out on, and the many forms of advertising media. And then the most popular one that catches our eyes a lot if you're in Bukit Bintang or touristic area, the one outside pavilion, the huge one.
Right.
Yeah. So today we'll cover the six key areas under brand communication.
Right. Good.
Yep.
So, uh, now how relevant is this term, brand
Yeah.
communication? Is it still applicable in the modern thing, like for example, social media marketing and all this?
Oh yes, social media will be falling under the six categories. It's a very good question. How relevant is the term? The term is the correct term. So if you deal with the right thinking agencies, you're thinking with progressive brands, they use the term brand communication because it's not just about advertising, right? So the six categories, shall we cover one by one?
Mm, we go fast. We don't have
Uh,
much time.
we cover
So
one by
maybe you
one.
go on point. You don't need to elaborate.
Just
Yeah.
just the key pointer, and if
What
you
are the
add
six key points?
key points, advertising. The first one, of course, is a term we use a lot, and a lot of brands did not advertise, but now really thank goodness for online social media. A lot of it is free. People started advertising. Advertising is crucial even in bad times.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
The
the
key the key function, sorry, and the key function of advertising is to create awareness, increase awareness.
doing, of course, the advertising in all forms are to mainly to increase
Of course,
awareness and
eventually, if it lead to sales, of course, that's the plus point. But
yeah,
the
with the
original,
intention, I believe
yeah,
with the intention, but not directly
not directly correct,
related.
yeah. Because without awareness of any brand, whether your brand or my brand, it cannot lead to a recognition or reputation, correct?
Okay, nowadays, the terminology of lead generation is
Hmm.
very popular among the
Yep.
younger generation, right?
Hmm.
So, how much of lead generation falls into this category?
Lead generation is not a new term. Of course, now is one of the buzzwords. Lead generation has been in existence since a long time ago, from the 60s and beyond that. If you ask salespeople, they know the most because to go to get the potential sale and to close the sale, you need a lot of leads. LEAD.
Yeah,
For those who are not familiar with the term. But today is a huge buzzword because online, if you are careful, if you are smart enough, There's a lot of free media you can go into, isn't it? But
Correct,
free
correct.
media, as we say, is not a good comparison. It's not how much resources you have. It's not how much money. It's not how many people you can get, but the quality, isn't it?
Correct, correct.
So the
That
stress is number one, quantity and quality.
quantity versus quality lah, basically.
Yes,
So the best thing is actually both lah, huh?
you need both. You need both. You see
Correct.
the MLM people, multi-level marketing,
Mhm.
and to a certain extent, not as much as LM, insurance is numbers game. You need a lot of leads, isn't it? A lot of leads, lot of leads, lot of leads. Yeah.
I believe yes and no, because
Mm.
like for me, right, if a person calls me from MLM and insurance, it's
Mm.
already a cliche allowing most of us to put a barrier in front of us. You know?
Yeah.
So that may that may work into the counterproductiveness of the lead generation. Do you
I
agree?
I wouldn't agree totally because you need a lot of leads, a lot of leads, and of course when you say you are going to MLM or insurance, what would be the first popular response? A lot of people doing it, oh no, isn't it?
Correct. So I would, for example, if you ask me to sell MLM products,
Mm,
or I mean enter into MLM business and also insurance, I would take the thinking out of the box way.
mm.
You know, I
Well,
would not.
I've experienced MLM insurance partly, not a lot, because MLM a lot of people will take you in, because the last 20 years the business model has changed. Those days was about getting new member, building up membership. That's why they get the bad name of pyramid scheme. Of course there are some bad boys. Then they reinvented themselves. One of the key people who MLM who reinvented is Amway. And now they started bringing professionals and couples. You notice?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that MLM and insurance is bad, but what I'm
Mm,
trying to say is that be, be- because I've been always brought up by mentors, like you are one of my mentors.
mm,
Yeah, brought up by mentors who, uh, until now, I can remember their mantras.
mm.
Okay, they say that in order to be a winner,
Yep.
you must either have these three formulas. Number one, it's either you be the first. Secondly, either you be the best, or thirdly, you be different.
Yeah. Be the
So
first, be the best, or different. Yeah.
yeah, that's the only three ways you can become a winner lah.
Mm.
So therefore, most likely lah, where MLM or insurance is concerned, you're not the first lah. Let's face it. You know,
That's
you're
why they're very clever. New MLM organization coming to a new country. Before they come in, they will put out their research. Who are the top players in the
correct,
industry? They take
correct,
the
correct.
first one. Or the
So
best one.
the other mantra is also, is that Sun Tzu, this is Sun Tzu, he says that
Art of war.
out of war, he says that, keep your friends near, but keep your enemies
Enemies nearer.
nearer.
Well, that's his business in the corporate world is like that. I'm sad to say.
Yeah,
You have to accept it as part of the game. There is politics in corporate life, it is in
yeah,
business.
but then we are talking to mostly our viewers, homebound, retired,
Mm, yeah.
General Joe on the road, like
Mm,
us.
yeah.
So, what is the best form of of brand communication you think will work for people like us?
The best form wouldn't be the right way to look at it. That's why I plan to talk about six key areas. Let's move on from advertising. Next one is PR and publicity. All right, just because we're half hour, just couple of key pointers. Then we cover all, and then from the six, that would answer your question quite head on. What would
Mhm.
be the best form possible, depending on the situation? Public relations and publicity, right? Public relations used to be correcting situations that have gone wrong, like the Bridgestone tire exploded. You remember the case?
Yep, yep,
USA, and then many others. There's BP, the oil leakage at the Gulf and things like that. So
correct.
PR served that formula to repair situation and be friends with the consumers and public again.
So what
No,
you're
no,
trying to say is that
yeah.
PR will try to firefight lah.
The more than firefight, correct the situation, yeah, on the basis that no one is perfect, no brand is perfect. Sometimes
Right,
things can
right.
go wrong. But the trend has changed very totally already from mid 90s, when the current day branding come about. Today, if you do not publicize yourself,
Okay,
you will lose out to your competitors who publicize more. So today, PR and publicity becomes a knowledge tool, a knowledge tool.
okay, okay. Right now, can we talk about you publicizing versus you do your personal relationship building lah?
Personal relationship, yeah, maybe we jump the queue, we do the cover six
Mm.
anyway. The two key elements of activity under micro are personal selling and direct marketing. So that's a brilliant question. So when do we do direct marketing? Direct marketing and personal selling is one to one, or the American use the term one on one.
Correct.
That's a brilliant question, because macro actually means masses, MASS.
Understand. Okay.
So masses is not to say you simply fire your message. You still find a commonality among the masses. For instance, a drink like soft drink like Coca-Cola. Yeah. Well, people of all ages drink it. Of course, mature and elderly people have learned not to take so much of soft drink. The teenagers, I was once as well. I took a lot. But find the commonality. So that's mass communication. So what I say, your brilliant question is, you want to address to someone personal selling. Then you find out again the values and personality and the desire of that specific person. Now, insurance people do it very well. They always ask you what's important to you first before they start propagating what their insurance plan is useful for. They don't just come and just sell.
So
That's called
that's the new strategy that
yeah. All
MLM is.
insurance agent with proper mentors are taught that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
So coaching is very important also lah.
Coaching important because the first of all, you see, in fact, all communication, when you talk about brand communication, public speaking, branding, or whatever written or spoken, or audio video is, learn about what the customer want first. What's important to the customer, correct or not?
Correct, correct.
Then you bring the quality of your brand or product or service to match those. Then the desire is fulfilled, correct or not?
But you don't get that if you advertise, right?
You get the thing is today we won't complicate matters. We won't complexify matter. You also need to know the customer journey. Each of us go through a customer journey. The three key steps is one, you are not aware of something that it could be useful to you. The second step is you are aware now, you consider this possible brand, but you don't know which one to go for. Your education is not complete yet. And the third one, you quite decided to buy a brand, whatever product or service. So it's important to know at which stage of the journey you're talking to the audience, whether to the masses or the individual. Then copywriting, you
Mm.
write accordingly.
Okay, 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 okay. So, I mean, of course, the when you talk about masses, then you can
Mm,
you
that's
can hear
why
terms like filters and all this.
so that's why there are professional online courses to be how to be a strong copywriter. This is some of the things you learn. Of course, I've been a professional copywriter. We learn through our mentor. We the popular phrase is we learn with our clients budget and money.
Okay,
Keep learning, keep learning.
can we for the benefit of our viewers,
Yeah,
can you define in your own words what you mean by copywriting?
copyright. The advertising brand communication industry, I
Right.
mean, every industry got its quirkiness. It's the only industry they use writing text as copy, copy. It's just a jargon,
It's
copy.
just a jargon, like it's not like oh, I'm a last time copywriter. I can relate to the petition writer that has a typewriter
The
in
term
front
is
of.
still being used. The term is still being used.
Yeah.
Petition writer, copywriter is still being used. But if you meet the client, new client, not the big brands, they may not be familiar. You say, "Can you show me the copy?" They will be blur. You know what they mean? Can you show me the
Correct,
word?
correct, 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 correct.
Yeah.
This because nowadays the jargons for the new generation. In fact, on Tuesday we had a very interesting, very fun time with Aaron, who came out with the new generation jargons,
Millennials, yeah.
I think were you there in the show? Were you
No,
observing?
I
We had
briefly
a
at
small
front.
competition, and one of us here, one of the our viewers here, Christine, she has won a prize, lah, no?
Okay.
So it's quite interesting, but it beats me, lah. The new jargon has got, like you talk about copywriting, there's
Mm.
some relationship to the word, lah,
Yeah,
to
but the
the
thing is, language is organic and evolving all the time. Remember those days, the popular terms were groovy and things like that.
yeah, funky, groovy,
Uh,
macho.
Today, don't use the term groovy. Then they know which generation you come from. But it's about language evolving. It's about being
True, true,
trendy.
true, 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 true.
Cool. Remember, cool was very popular 20 years ago. Today, it's
Yeah,
still used.
true.
Still being used.
Macho.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the benefit of all the viewers who just turned in, we are talking to Jon Tan, and the topic is brand communication. Yep. Okay, carry on, John.
Yeah, two more key activities. I like to share events and experiences and sales. Let's talk about sales. Now, advertising original intention is not to sell, but eventually you're able to sell. We don't advertise or seek advertising, although the first intention is to create awareness, increase awareness. Now, sales, why sales is a special activity? This is within inverted comma hardcore, you know. Now, you ask any top sales people or the serious sales people, right? They're very serious about work. Of course, when they meet their quota, they can relax a bit. The the popular phrase to them is you watch a movie is real life. You come back with the sales or you can quit the job. Isn't it? So sales in this context is hard sales. Hard sales. It could be via promotion, it could be offer of today, whatever. But you have to meet the target. Whereas advertising is not meant to meet the target of sales. So people get the wrong idea. That's why that answers your question: is what is the best form of communication? Huh? What about events and experiences? Now, the pandemic caused a lot of damage to the events management people. 2 years they couldn't have events,
True, true,
huh?
true.
And the events are very useful. Events are very useful. For instance, the Meta Fair in Malaysia, MATTA,
Mata fair, yeah.
huge crowd going, humongous sales because they could go there and experience not just the offers. There will be live demonstration. For
Information as
instance,
well. Yeah?
holiday to New Zealand, the
That's right.
New Zealand tourism will be here, and then of course experiences. Now, this is very useful events and experiences. Thank God now near endemic we are allowed to do this in a full-fledged way. Experiences. You see, if you read an advertisement called printer, PRNT, or if you watch a video, of course, video is a much more popular medium than just reading. Generally, not just Malaysians, many people around the world don't read as much. But video they love. But then
Yeah.
again, one is seeing. Experience means through an event, not necessarily a huge event, just an event. Yeah, you can really experience it, you can touch it, feel it, hear the sound, feel whatever that you want to expose yourself, a new type of fabric, whatever you can touch. Because cooking is the example, you can smell. Yeah, and then the fact that people are demonstrating it so easy, it affects the buyer's mentality to buy. Because as we know, all selling happens at the point of emotion, not the mind. So experiences are very, very, very good medium to use.
So to all your ladies out there, right?
Yeah,
John has just given you an answer why ladies shop a lot because they want to experience the
yeah, experience it.
emotion.
The emotion. Men will be less lah. Men they decide what they want to
Let's
buy.
ask the viewers, lah. Let's ask the viewer. Do you
Yeah,
agree that women buy things based on emotions more than the guys?
yeah,
Okay, if you believe that, please type one. If you do not believe it, type two.
yeah.
If you believe that women are a more emotional purchaser than the men, type one, or else you type two. Yep.
Yep. Let's see how the response is. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've covered the six key elements: advertising, PR and publicity, events and experiences, sales hardcore, that comes under macro masses, and then micro, one-on-one or one-to-one, personal selling and direct marketing.
Yeah. Let's ask the for the viewers out there. Do you have any questions you like to pose
Yeah,
on
who
to
else? I see
John?
a
Yeah.
lot of one, a lot of one.
Yeah. Thanks.
So
Thanks
that
for
proves
your
the
response.
point, not just today. Ladies like to go shopping, they like to experience, put on the dresses, put on three or four or five.
Why is it so? Why is it so?
Because you see, generally speaking, without being prejudiced, do you know how the word model came about or not? MODEL,
No idea.
professional model, right? They find all those days was slim, and then later, because of the movement in society evolved, they now not necessarily as ravishingly model beautiful, but still in shape. Because they put on the clothes in a way that you like to follow. So the right term is role model, ROLE.
I
So
see.
the ladies must put on, you see. That day I saw the model wear different, no? Isn't it right? That's number one. Number two, men also like to put on, yeah, put on a few pair of pants,
Ah,
a few shirts as well. Huh? And generally we don't, but if it's an expensive brand, you do. By expensive, I don't mean the five-star designer brand, you know? You do, because generally
yeah.
we talk about shirts, pants, 150, 200, 300. You okay lah, you look at something or alternative. But what if it's 2,000? You like to put on a few to decide the best you can buy, right? Well,
Yeah,
unless
correct.
you're very wealthy, you take all five.
Yeah, I've seen,
Yeah.
one day I walked into a pavilion,
Ah,
the Louis Vuitton uh, shop, the store, right?
ah,
Louis
hmm,
Vuitton store. And this Arabian woman
hmm.
came and pointed up there, the whole row, I want 12, 12, I want 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. My goodness. And it's not cheap,
Amazing, huh? Why not?
Amazing.
Last time, remember Imelda Marcos, Philippines?
Yeah, I
Got
suppose.
big room of shoes.
I
The
actually
brother
went and,
of Sultan of Brunei,
yeah.
at one stage, he had 1,000 expensive cars.
And then she lined up a few taxis
Huh.
to load all in the taxis.
Mm,
So this Louis Vuitton, first time I saw them pushing the thing out with their cart, the
mm.
supermarket trolley. So I actually asked the lady, how come you buy so many? No, in my country, very difficult to find. So, I buy for my friends.
Uh,
Hey, per unit, not cheap. No, the one, the handbag, and most of them are all handbags, lah, all lady stuff, lah.
of course, the thing is to be frank, money is important. But once you make a lot of money, you need to be adventurous. How to use the money, isn't it? That's an interesting question from Aaron. Shall I answer that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you have, I paraphrase from what he has written. If you have enough budget to only invest in either improving your branding or product service quality, which one would you choose? I would say both. Maybe you go on to ratio. We cannot ignore product service quality. At the same time, we cannot bypass the brand communication. By the way, it's good to cover another interest areas. There is the organic media, your website, all those things that belong to you. Those are all owner media. You can attract traffic. Then there's a paid media, advertising and so forth. You pay money. There's an earned media, from the word EARN. That's very useful. The newspaper, online newspaper or physical or TV station or online, they, they publicize for you. So it's good to collaborate. And then of course, free media. Social media is generally free unless you take up the premium account. So it's important to improve your brand communication. And more so, as I said now today, PR is not the same as before. PR used to be rescuing situation. Today, PR last 20 years is send out knowledge about your brand and your product. Secondly, product service quality is hugely important because there's a joke within the mainstream advertising industry. You can fool people once, but not twice.
Mm.
If the quality is not good, you give a fantastic offer, great, great branding activity, and people buy it, they never come back. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Okay, I think we have ran out of time again, and we shall take one more question. How about it? what is the lowest amount of budget do you recommend for effective outreach advertising?
All right. Outreach means you reach out. Eh? Now, there is a formula which was started years and years ago. Today is still valid. About minimum 1% of your total sales. Minimum 1% of your
Total
total sales.
sales.
However, if you are a brand new product service, you start to launch, you would need to go more than that because
All
there's no
right.
sales yet, isn't it? You project your
Yep.
total sales, it's good to go 10%, 20%, 40%, 50%. Because we
Wow.
must
So much. Huh?
remember this very, very key criterion. Before awareness, you cannot get recognition or reputation.
Agreed. Yep. As I said again, we are very unfortunate to not to have more time. Okay. Do catch John again next week and every Thursdays. Okay. We
Yep.
thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you who viewed this episode that brings you knowledge and skill program. That's what the Big Chief channel is. And we are here every weekdays, 8:30 p.m. Okay, please share and like our pages. And we are now in YouTube as well as Facebook. Okay, till we meet again. How?
Ow.